Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, oh, this is rather unorthodox. Starting the show like this, starting the show the way he just did. Oh, it's very unusual. It's not unusual for him anyway, unusual for other people too. I can't say I ever remember an episode of anything else starting like that either. They don't just come on and say, now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, oh, that's a very unusual and unorthodox way to start the show. It's usually something you'd only hear about halfway through an episode of Into Your Head podcast when he's looking for a way to start a segment without going monkey nuts. That's what they call them, monkey nuts, or two cats walk into a bar. That's just one of those ones that he has up his sleeve. But he never starts off with one, and it's certainly highly unusual now for Oprah Winfrey to be starting a show like that, and that's what you're thinking. You'd be largely right about that.
You're listening to Into Your Head, a caffeine-fueled podcast all the way from Ireland.
You join me at a tremendously exciting moment. It's Into Your Head, number 617 for Monday. We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of these brown shoelaces that are hanging up above my monitor here for some reason. I don't really have any use for them at the moment, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't really know why they're there. Or are they? Are they shoelaces? I'm not sure now. It says there's a label on it that says class specs. Cords. Oh, there's their spectacle chains. That's what they are. They're not shoelaces at all. That would explain it. So I bought a selection of spectacle cords a while ago. I decided not to use them. They made me look and feel like an old woman, and I'm not ready to look like an old woman yet. I can tell you, it's a bit early for that. It's only. It's only 9:05 of a Friday morning, but that's not what I meant, no. The point is, hello and welcome to today's programme. We've a lot to get on with. I just haven't managed to get started yet. This is about my 6th attempt. I must deodorise myself. I'm perspiring heavily. That may be part of the problem. I did drink the required amount of energy drink that I usually need to start a show, but then I went off to fix a drawer in a locker in a cabinet downstairs, and by fixing it I mean swapping my wife's cabinet with hers, so that the corresponding drawer that she wished to use on hers was no longer broken because she had mine. But I'm going to say I repaired it. I go to boast that I repaired the drawer. That's the advantage of having twin sets of drawers. Or is it? I don't know. It does mean I have a broken drawer at my end of the sofa now. Doesn't matter though. I just know that it's there and I'll avoid using it. I'll use the other 3 drawers in it. I'll use drawer number 1 and drawer number 2 and drawer number 4, or else if you count them from the bottom up, I'll be using drawer number 1 and drawer number 3 and drawer number 4, or whatever it was. Don't need to get too. I think we're getting a bit too detailed here, if you don't mind me saying so. There's such a thing as over elaborating on the finest detail. That's why they had this problem. It was the same back in the Bible. There's a fella came along once in the Bible and he said, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. How we figured this out, I don't know. I have a needle here somewhere. Although now that you mention it, I don't have any camels either. Even if there were, I don't think. Two cats walk into a public convenience outlet or inlet, depending. I suppose now that I think about it, those are two different things. Public convenience outlet would be a convenience store, shop for convenience items or convenience purchase of normal items. Convenience inlet, on the other hand, a phrase which I have to admit I haven't heard before in common parlance. I may have just made it up, although the words themselves, convenience and inlet, do make sense. But no, a convenience inlet would be a public toilet, basically. You outlet your stuff from your body, but you inlet it to an appropriate receptacle in the convenience inlet. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking a convenience store might have a convenience inlet inside it. It may have a toilet of some kind down the back somewhere behind some doors. Well, that's true. The convenience stores over here, I suppose some of them do. If they have a petrol station, they sometimes have a toilet. But no, the story we're talking about today is of, let's not get distracted from the main top story here. Our tale of two cats who walk into a convenience inlet stroke outlet. I suppose it's a bit of both. I suppose it's a big fancy 24-hour convenience store petrol station with appropriate facilities for a motorway stopover. Although, now that you mention it, unless they're driving, and cats don't drive, these cats wouldn't be travelling along a motorway. Although, who's to stop them? Is there someone going around 24/7 on an Irish motorway stopping the cats from walking onto the motorway? I doubt it very much. We're not that well off over here at the moment that we can have 24-hour a day cat protection forces. Sadly, anyway, these cats. Don't worry about these cats. Anyway, they've safely gotten themselves into a well-lit convenience inlet stroke outlet, and they go up to the counter. Well, one of them doesn't. One of them takes a seat at a stool. The other one goes up to the counter and says, hello, can I have 2 large latte cappuccinos, please? And the man behind the counter says, how the fuck did you get in here? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. When it's 2 o'clock in the morning, we serve through that hatch over there. The door is locked. Did you climb under the fucking hatch or something? The cat says, I don't know. Now that you mention it, the doorway did seem to be only about 2 inches above my head when I walked in. So maybe it's possible that I walked in under a shutter. But that's hardly my fault, is it? I'm not a freaking security expert. Do you want us to move round to the hatch? And the man says, yes, I certainly do, please. Thank you very much, sir and or madam, whichever the two of you are. So anyway, the 2 cats go out under the hatch again, and they go out into the forecourt, and they go up to the hatch, the night service hatch, and they sit in front of there for about an hour, and then they get no attention, so they start meowing, and the fella leans out over the hatch and looks down and sees 2 cats looking up at him meowing, and cat number 1 says, I've been sitting here for an hour. I think you see now why we prefer to go into the store itself and go up to the counter, because you can't really see us here until we meow at you. And the man goes, well, why the fuck didn't you meow then? And the cats go, well, we don't like to cause trouble. You're not supposed to meow in the middle of the night in a built-up area. But this isn't a fucking built-up area. This is a motorway service station out in the middle of nowhere. Although technically, I suppose it's a building. Any building, I suppose, while you're in it, that's a built-up area. That's fucking ridiculous. Why would you be in a non-built-up area at any time? If there's a road going through somewhere, that's a built-up area. You build roads. I'm inclined to agree with you, sir or madam, now that you mention it. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. And the cat says, you see, this is what we have to deal with every day, day in, day out, week in, week out. Every time the sun comes up, it starts all over again, and when the sun goes down, it continues, because we're really, if we're honest, we're nocturnal creatures here. At least you humans, you can say, oh, I've had a hard day of it, but at least it's over now, I can relax for the night. We don't. We're 24/7. 24/7 with the occasional cat nap at various times. But no, it's all go for us. There's a Twitter mention of me. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to fade myself out there and fade myself in. Except I won't fade myself in. I'll just start. I'll start immediately. I don't need to be gently faded in. Unlike your man, that poet, he said, do not go gently into that dark night. Fade against the dying. Oh no, he said, rage against the dying of the light. But if you turn that around, because that was a poem, a famous poem by either an Irish or Welsh poet, someone or other, that we all had to study in school. He wrote a couple of poems sitting on a canal bank. There's a statue of him there now on a canal bank seat, on that very canal bank. In fact, it's the same canal that flows through my local town. It flows through lots of towns. That's nothing to get excited about. The very nature of these canals is that they flow through lots of towns. But no, that's not the point. He wrote a poem. He said, do not go gentle into that good dark night. Fight against the dying of the light. Basically, fight death. Well, if he were to turn that around, and if he was still alive, or if he'd been a poet before he was born, which maybe he was, he'd have written a poem about being born. He'd have said, don't gently be born. Just get going immediately. There's no need to fade yourself in. Unlike a bad segment that's being faded out for editing purposes, and to not confuse the listener. If you're just starting something, the birth of a segment can just begin. It doesn't need to be faded in, and that's why I didn't fade myself in. I at least learned something in English class. The rest of the time, I can tell you, I learned nothing. I was all studying Shakespeare plays, reading poems by old men about death, reading poems about all sorts of crap. The most depressing crap you could possibly read as a 15-year-old. I was all forced down our throats. I used to grab us by the throats and say, read this and memorise 8 lines of it tonight, and you'll damn well recite it tomorrow like there's no tomorrow. Except, of course, there wasn't. There was always a tomorrow. That's what they don't tell you. There's always going to be a tomorrow. You'll say, oh, I can learn that off easily by tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't here yet, so it's of no relevance to me. Next thing you know, as if in the blink of an eye, like in some freaking time travel movie, next thing you know, you'd be sitting there in the exact same seat, but it would be 24 hours later, or maybe 21 hours or 25 hours, because of course the English class would be at different times every day, and you'd be there and the fellow would be saying, you know that thing I told you to learn off last night, recite a bit of that for me now, and you'd go, never, do not go gently into that dark night. Rage against the dying of the light. This poem is not suitable for depressed 15-year-olds sitting in the dark, dreary school in some shitty shithole just outside Dublin, in the middle of the last recession. For fuck's sake, though this is, while I'm very proud of my poetry, please do not drill it into teenagers. For fuck's sake, you don't go around, alcohol is great too, but you don't go giving it to your 6-year-old, do you? And the teacher said, stop being a smart horse. That's not what the poem says. Although you'll say, I thought I was supposed to interpret it. You're always telling us, read the poem and then interpret it. Well, I'm interpreting it. Even though it's already written in English, I'm interpreting it into something other than... That's the problem with these fucking poems. They were written in English, but it was still crap that you had to interpret. They'd say, recite it and then interpret it. What does your man mean there where he says, oh Christ, I'm sick of this fucking poetry? What does he mean by that? And you'd say, well, I think what he's trying to say there is that it's a metaphor for life. He's sick of life, especially all the fucking poetry that he has to write. The poor man. He's 52 years of age, which in those days, in 1800s Ireland, that was elderly. Everyone in Ireland in the 1800s died at the age of 24 from lack of potatoes. We had also, I don't know if you're aware, we had a problem with the potatoes in the century before last. We had a potato famine. We all ran out of potato, as we said, oh Christ, we all have to get on a boat to New York and go and become gangsters there. We'll go and become the gangs of New York. We get on a big ship, we'll hide down with the rats underneath the floorboards. We'll basically turn up there beside the Statue of Liberty, and we'll grab onto the Statue of Liberty as if our life depends on it, which indeed it does. The sea's quite deep over there, I'd say. Franks, personally, I can't swim, so I probably have just stayed with the boat until it hit land, or until I found some way out to involve not swimming, such as, for example, travelling all the way to the land. I don't know. I don't need to work out the full details. I've no intention of travelling back in time to the Irish potato famine and then emigrating. No, absolutely. That would be foolish in hindsight, since I have a slight knowledge of what went on in my country in those years. It would be foolish of me to choose to go there, unless, of course, I was involuntarily time travelled to there. But you can't be spending your whole life worrying about these things, or else you go absolutely stark raving nuts. That's what they call them. They call them big steaming, dolloping, shit stealing. No, not shit stealing. That's the wrong phrase altogether. Partially right. Shit something, shit jumping, I suppose. They don't really do anything to shit until you eat them. They don't go. Monkey nuts don't just go. Running up behind you and causing you to shit. Although I see one of my cats, either Muddy or Pippi, out on the public green at the moment trying to stalk a bird or something, and she may well be causing the bird to shit. But Muddy stroke Pippi the cat is not a monkey nut. No. When we refer to monkey nuts here, we refer, of course, to the traditional bog standard peanut. Or do we? There's a question now. Is a monkey nut and a peanut the same thing? And if so, why do they have two different names? Or do they have two different names even? We researched this in detail on the show before, but there's no law against repetition. Peanut or monkey nut? Search. Let's have a look at this now, see what the latest thinking is on this. What? There we go. So I'm not the first person to ask this. Someone on Yahoo Answers asks, what's the difference between monkey nuts and peanuts? And someone answered, the nut is the same, it's just that monkey nuts means the complete pause, ... I read it on Wikipedia before, as I wondered the same thing. Then the fella who answered the question replies to this. He says, checked Wikipedia too, they are the same thing, ! The peanut is the nut that is inside the shell. The whole thing is called a monkey nut. Thanks to all. Now that's from 5 years ago, so that's interesting why I haven't come across this before. It's the second result on Google when you do the search peanut or monkey nut. I've been going about this all wrong. I've wasted a whole, maybe 2 years discussing peanuts and monkey nuts here on the programme. Never got anywhere except fill the occasional second half of the show just by starting going, monkey nuts, that's what they call them. They call them big steaming dollops of monkey nuts. Meanwhile, there's this page up on the internet, one of the finest internet providers ever, Yahoo, and they've worked the whole out for me already. That's what you get for keeping walking around with one eye half closed and the other eye half open, and nothing at all to keep watch on the back of your head. Muddy stroke Pippi is still stalking a bird there. Probably find a dead bird on the stairs when I finish this and go out. Not to worry. We won't worry our little heads about that. It's all perfectly natural. It's all the natural order of the world. Cats kill birds, crap all over the place, I suppose that makes sense. Is the whole point of scaring the bird to cause it to crap, so that if the cat, if a cat in its wild before it's being domesticated wants to eat the bird, it doesn't really want to have the crap still in the bird. It wants the bird to excrete its crap to make it more appealing to the wild cat's palate. I presume that's why it is. Makes sense. You have to admit it makes sense, even if you never heard it before. Makes sense and makes all the sense in the world. Where are we? We're about 7 minutes into the show. I think this is going to be another one of those, not one of the greatest episodes ever made, if you don't mind me saying so, if it goes on like this. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do to improve upon it. The time's not up yet. We've got a whole day to deal with this. It's only 9:15 in the morning after all. I can work on this. I can work on this to my heart's content, or until I collapse from my heart being non-content. I don't mean in an emotional sense. I mean if my heart explodes here from caffeine abuse, then I may have to stop working on this episode. In which case I'm sure you'll find out about it in due course. In fact, you will, because I've got an automated blog post set up on my website in case I ever die suddenly. If I don't post anything for about 3 months, an automated message will come up on my website saying, I appear not to be here anymore. Sorry about that, or words to that effect. So watch out for that if I ever disappear for a while. If you see that, it's a sign that I'm probably not coming back. Anyway, suffice to say, on with the show.
There's still more to come on Into Your Head.
Do you ever shop at Amazon.com or Amazon UK? Get there through Neil's special Amazon links, and Into Your Head gets a generous cut. Every time. Just visit intoyourhead.com/offers every time you're about to buy anything on Amazon, and follow the special Amazon links to start shopping.
Hi, this is Chad from the OnSug Network, and when I travel virtually in the computer...
Chad, os on Leone Lonsog, agus nuair a tastáil mé beagnach an river team into do ceann. An $1 board is jockey do ceann, idir ceann a cúr méid uach taréis an ketchup an burrito shock hotcha.
I go into your head.
Now boarding. Into your head. Into your head.
I've just put the ketchup on the last burrito.
There now follows a further segment in which I launch a scathing attack on the concept of infinity. Now, I want to put in a warning in here. This may go over some of the heads of some of the shorter people among you. I don't mean physically shorter. I'm not a frigging bigot. I'm not saying short people are any less capable of understanding intellectual concepts than the rest of us. No, I'm just pointing out that it gets a bit intellectual now in the next segment, and you need to keep up. If you're one of these people who listens to this while you're falling asleep, just set yourself a little reminder that although this may show up on your podcast app as played in the morning, you probably haven't heard it properly, and you need to listen to it again in the morning when you're wide and awake. You can be damn sure that Christ has held I had to be wide awake to record this. I've had an entire can of Monster Ripper energy drink, an entire the Overnightscape old school Batwings mug full of cheaper energy drink, and 2 caffeine pills before I even started today's recording session. So if I had to do all that, then do me the courtesy of being awake before you listen to the next segment, because frankly this will maybe turn out to be my masterpiece. First thing I'm going to do once I've finished editing this is put it straight up on archive.org, just so if I die today I'll at least have contributed something to the intellectual advancement of our species. Now, I can't help if nobody listens to it, but at least I'll have done my bit. Just as Mozart did his bit when he got out his musical instrument and he said, "Oh, I've got a tune here now. I'm probably going to die at 30 because it's the 1700s, so I better get it down on paper now." And then he called in his secretary and he said, "Secretary, write this down immediately, please." Goes a little something like this. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do. Now, that might have been Mozart or it might have been Beethoven or something else. It doesn't really matter. It's just an example. It was just an illustration. No more than that. No more than that. So don't get all excited over. Don't get all excited over your Beethovens and your Mozarts, because what's about to come in the next segment will dwarf any of that crap. Not to say that Mozart is crap. He's a perfectly decent human being. Or was he? Remains to be seen. I don't know. Saw that movie Amadeus once. That's all I know about him. Well, that and the 2 years I spent studying music at intermediate certificate level during my youth and getting a C in ordinary level intermediate certificate music. Mozart played quite a big part in that, I suppose. But apart from that, no. Anyway, on with the show. A long, long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, 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 far away. So far away, in fact, that's indescribable using any language known to man. So we just say far, 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 far away. But it's a lot more than that. The word far, no matter how many times you say it, is inadequate. We need to come up with a new word. Infinite doesn't work, because that doesn't tell you the distance. Infinite is just a cop-out. Infinity is not anything that any educated person should be saying. Deciding infinity or anything like that. That's basically the mathematical version of signing your name with an X. Not that there's anything wrong with signing your name with an X, but if you're educated in maths, you shouldn't be using the word infinity. Just as if you're able to write your name, you don't need to use the word X, unless your name, of course, is X, as in Malcolm. Was there a Malcolm X? Hold on a minute. Let's have a look at this now. Wasn't there a movie, Malcolm X? I can't remember what it was about. Was it some political thing? Malcolm X. Let's have a look at this. Malcolm X. Oh, here he is now. Up on Wikipedia. Malcolm X, born Malcolm Little, was he was an African-American Muslim minister and human rights activist. Blah, 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 stuff. Oh, so that was a person. Wasn't necessary. Did he change his name to X? How did he become X? I don't know. Was he the 10th Malcolm? Was it Roman numerals? I don't know. I can't read too far down into this article while I'm concentrating on talking to you, because I'm not a woman. Only women can multitask like that, unfortunately, and I'm not a woman. So no, I'll educate. But don't worry, I'll educate myself about Malcolm X at a future date. I like to read Wikipedia articles on my iPadlet at night, so I'll bookmark that for later reading, and I'll make myself less ignorant. Don't you worry. Suffice to say, anyway, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far, far away, but not infinitely far away, just a very, very long way away, somewhere between the horizon and infinity. If you can picture that, you probably can. If you can picture that, draw a painting and you'll have created a whole new sense of you'll garner a new appreciation of artists. If you can express something using the paintbrush that can't be expressed using language, then you might create a new renaissance. We'll have people painting things all over the place. People doing philosophy studies will say, oh, I don't have words to describe this, but luckily I've also majored in painting, so I'm going to draw a painting to express my new philosophical theory. That'll be the next thing. Anyway, long time ago in a galaxy far, far, far away. How long have we left? To say another 4 minutes will do it. We're sitting here a long time ago, maybe about, I'd say 55 minutes ago. I was sitting here and I fell off my chair because my chair is loose. I need to repair that. The other day during recording, I mentioned that my chair needed oiling. Turns out it's a bit more serious than that. It needs repairing. I can carry out the repair myself. I just couldn't be arsed over the weekend to do it. Basically involves getting some screws, get a screwdriver and some screws, and screwing the seat of the chair, the part that holds up my arse, to its base in a secure fashion, and then putting everything basically back where it belongs. Until then, I just have to be careful every time I get up that I don't spin myself out this window, because then I'd end up landing on Pippi stroke Muddy. She's still out there. Oh, she's not still out there. She's either in the hole eating a bird, or she's gone to the local convenience inlet for a piss. I don't know. Anyway, suffice to say, good morning.
If you would like to comment on any of the issues raised in today's programme, email us at studio@intoyourhead.com. Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener.
Sit, Muddy, sit. Good cat.
Intoyourhead.com.